This is Tabitha Jones with Tab's Pink Elephant, and I'm here with my aunt again, Linda Jones. I'm here with her, and so we're going to go ahead and get started. You know, this is our second segment on the Proverbs 5 whore. And I said whore because I know Aunt Linda doesn't like it when I say whore, but I'm saying it. Just read the book of Hosea if you want to see that word said quite a bit. Just read it. But anyway, the first segment, I wanted to say something. The first segment, I had someone look at it and they said, are you giving the men a pass? I said, no, I'm not giving the men a pass. But I'm not a man, and I need to concentrate on what we women need to do. Now, I will tell you, I'm not a man, and so but one thing I will tell you that I noticed, there are a lot of men giving women advice on social media. What's that about? Check this out. Let me just read this to you, because I really thought to myself, this is a bit much. I went out there just to see how many men were giving women advice. I saw a man giving women advice. He was saying how to make him chase you, how to get a man's attention, how to know if he's a liar. A woman must never persuade a man. So, ladies, there's part of us that we need to get our own selves together. We should not have a man basically telling us how to act. Now, Aunt Linda, think about what I just said. There are a lot of men out there giving each other advice. They're telling women how they need to act. They're telling women what they need to do. And I think that if men are going to be giving women advice, where are the men giving the men advice? And we're not seeing it. Okay. If you really want to know the truth about it, for some reason, men won't touch men's issues, but they'll touch a woman's issues, and women will even touch issues, but it's like they won't touch the men's issues. So the Proverbs 5 whore, or as the coin phrase, the Proverbs 5, we know that it takes two to tango.
Absolutely.
It takes two to tango. So we're not trying to give anybody a free pass. I'm just telling you, I'm concentrating on the woman. So that's kind of what I want to say. I'm just concentrating on the woman. And if you don't mind, to get us started, let me go ahead and read a verse from Proverbs 5.
Okay.
And I would encourage you guys, read Proverbs 5. Read it. As I will be saying on most of my podcasts, it's time to crack open the Bible. I stop listening to what other people are telling us. Just open it yourself, read it. Matter of fact, I think you'll find it some good reading. Anyway, Proverbs 5, 4. But in the end, she will bring you sorrow. She will cause you pain like a two-edged sword. She is on the way to death. Her steps are headed straight to the grave. She gives no thought of life. She does not know that her ways are wrong. Okay. So she doesn't know that her ways are wrong. All right, Aunt Linda. So like I said, we're going to concentrate on the woman. It takes two to tango. Do you believe, I think it had to start somewhere. We talked a little bit about it last time, that it started somewhere. She needs to know her value and worth. And you and I were talking about the book of Genesis. You know, we always need to go and see what the root of something is. What does it begin? Even if you see a child that's been abused, you know it began somewhere. Right. So Proverbs 5 and what she's dealing with, I know the book of Genesis talks a little bit about that man-woman thing.
Yes, it is.
And what stands out to you? We kind of talked about that a little bit, what stood out to us in the book of Genesis, and how Adam and Eve were in the garden. And
yes, we did.
Yeah.
I started I like the book of Genesis, and so I started reading it. And maybe about a month ago, I was reading, and it was talking about how things were really perfect in the garden. And you didn't see too many roles that were assigned to Adam or Eve. It was like they were both equal they just loved one another. Everything was fine. And of course, you didn't think about adultery at all because there was only Adam and Eve. I said, okay. And then I read further on. Then the curse, when they ate the apple. I noticed when I started reading it, it said that Eve was cursed, Adam was cursed too, of course, but I'm going to concentrate on Eve.
Yeah.
And it said that she would have pain in childbirth. So I said, oh, so really when God created us, he did not mean for women to have pain in childbirth. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And then I read a little bit further where it said that Eve would long for her husband. I said, Eve will long for her husband? And that was a part of the curse. I said, oh, so something changed when the curse came.
How can you long for something when you already have it?
That was my point exactly.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And so I think sometimes we are still living under the curse, even though Jesus Christ came and died on the cross.
Yeah.
For all.
So we need to stop.
Everything.
We need to stop living under that curse. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I've been talking to women, and every time I'm talking to a woman that's going through something, a woman that's having problems, guess who is linked? Guess who is linked with? Okay, hold on. Don't yell it out, guys. A man. It's like something's off about this. Every time you're talking to a woman and she's depressed, oppressed, underpressed, somewhere down the road, whether it was a father, whether it was whatever, a childhood, whether it was a boyfriend, husband, it's always a man that causes us to go off rails. I mean, something's not right about that. I mean, come on. We know we talked about value and worth, but it is really heartening that the Proverbs 5, and the Proverbs 5, let me just make this clarification. The Proverbs 5 and with the man, these were married folks. These were married. This was adultery. Look, read it for you. Like I said, read it for yourself now. But it was adultery that was going on. And I know this pink elephant, we're not really supposed to, we get up and we preach on adultery and we do, but nobody really gets to the root of the matter. And it's time to get to the root of the matter. And that's the only way we're going to get the elephant out of the room. And like I said, I'm not a man, so I'm going to concentrate on the woman. But for women to always have some type of vice and a man is connected to it, we have to start looking at ourselves.
Absolutely.
I had to start looking at myself. I had to start looking at myself and say, hey, Tab, you were made by the Father. You were made by the Lord. Okay? So why does this thing hold so much power over you? Why does it hold so much authority over you?
I've been thinking about that some. And I think a part of it is that we tend to put a man before God. And God has to be number one in our lives. I think when we get God in his proper place in our lives, you won't see us going off rail with a man. Because if we have that relationship with God and he's first in our life, I think every other relationship will work out. It'll be in its proper place. Yeah. And it's almost like, I've said this to you before, it's like we're almost having an affair, and it's actually, we're having an affair, and it's against God. It's our
now,
love
I know you're
walk.
not calling me a Proverbs 5 now. Right?
Well,
anytime you putting something before God,
it's almost like you committed adultery there, because that's supposed to be that special one-on-one relationship. And with God, we do have a relationship. Yeah. and it should be the main relationship in our lives. And everything should flow from that relationship. So I started looking at myself and thinking,
Yeah.
when you really think about it, and ladies, when you really do, sometimes you may love your husband more than you do God. And God's kind of on the back burner. You get to him. You love him.
Yeah, it's got to be a balance. It has to be a balance. You see what I mean? And I think sometimes I don't know why, it's hard to balance it. It's almost like you both have to go into it with an understanding. You both have to go into an understanding. We love each other, but if we put each other before God, this not going to last anyway. This not going to work. So
I think if you put God first, that man will love that because you'll love him the way you're supposed to
and
love
vice
him.
versa. That's true.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
Yes.
That is so true.
And two, I think we do this thing where we put our husbands or the people that we love in a place that they don't belong. Because when I first got married, I thought my husband was supposed to make me happy. That was his job. And I was very disappointed when he didn't make me happy the way I wanted to be happy.
Oh, well.
And I think you put pressure on a man when you put him in the place of God, because he's not God and he never can be God.
Oh, that's good.
So it's not fair to a man.
Oh, that's good.
And I thought, you know what? After a while, when I grew in the things of God, I said, you know what? I put my husband in a place that I should not have at all. Because he couldn't do what only God could do for me. You know, I was basically a broken human being, and I expected my husband to fix me. And the only person that could fix me was God.
That's a lot of pressure right there.
And when I finally got the memo, the Post-it note, that God was the only one that could do that, then, you know what? I felt free.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't putting pressure on my husband to be something that he could never be. Never.
Wow.
So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, that's good. And you know what? I start paying attention to what's going on around me more. In this age of social media, it's like that one thing, you know, you have to take a break from social media sometimes. You have to just go from social media sometimes. And I'm seeing a lot of men bashing. I never really paid attention to that before, but I'm seeing a lot of men bashing. You know, Atlanta, we can sit here and we can bash men all day long, but I'm going to be honest with you. Really, what good is that going to do? What has it done? If we just sit here and we start talking about a man this and they need to do this and okay, where have you moved from? Are you growing because you bashed a man all day on a podcast?
I agree with you, and I thought about that some too. You know, you get in a place when things are happening to you, you want to vent and talk about it some, but man bashing is not going to help you. You know what I think about? I go back to the Old Testament with the children of Israel. Why didn't they enter into the promised land? Because of murmuring and complaining. Have I complained before? Yes. Did it help me? No. When I decided I'd go to the Father in prayer, that's where I got the help from.
Yeah.
Talking negative about something, is it going to make it positive if you talk about something negative?
That's right.
Not at all. So I don't think murmuring and complaining will help at all. What is the solution, Tabitha?
Yeah, that's true.
Let's find out what is the solution. I think we've identified some problems. Are we going to continue to talk about the problem?
That's good.
Is that ever going to solve it? We just continually talk about the problem. And I think that's happening with women a lot. We talk about it because we're hurt.
Yeah. And
he hurt me.
Yeah, he hurt me. I'm seeing it. It's like a pandemic. And I'm not talking about the COVID pandemic. It's like a pandemic going on with, you know, women that have been hurt and they don't know how to get past it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to get past it. And It makes me think about that word arrested development.
Oh, yes.
Have y'all heard of that word arrested development? It's really, let me see. Let me look at it real quick.
Okay.
Let me see if I have it up. Let me see if I have it. I can get it real quick. Okay, y'all hang with me. Hang with me. Okay. So the definition of arrested development is an abnormal state in which development had stopped prematurely. So you stop developing in that place of hurt.
Yes.
So you hang out there. You just bash, bash, bash. You know, talk trash, but you never get past it. There are some 80-year-old people that are still stuck in 1970. I'm just being honest. It's really, or 1939. I mean, we can keep going further back.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to say, I can't live my life this way till I go be with the Father or I go be with the devil. I can't live my life this way. You have to find some ways to get past it. And that's what I say about getting this elephant out of the room. And I can talk to the ladies, and I'm not, honing in on the man
That's
now.
right.
Is because we as ladies, we have to start looking at ourselves and taking accountability for us. And you know what? I love when you truly get a walk with Christ, you really start loving people. And I love our ladies. Ladies, I love you. I love you. I'm not gonna sit. Okay. Oh, let me say this. I could if there's a Proverbs 5, I could say, I think I'm gonna be a Proverbs 5 because I'm hurt. I think I'm just gonna go, and it's like a vicious cycle. We have to help one another. We have to encourage one another. We have to say you're better than that. We have to say you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are who God made you to be. And there are some, and I know we keep talking about the Proverbs 5, but I didn't know it was so many. I didn't know this was going on so much. But this is definitely it. And I can talk, it's going on outside of the body of Christ, and it's going on in the body of Christ. But people know it. We see it, but let's not talk about it. We have to have accountability and start talking about it so we can improve as women, so we can get better. And the place that you have to go is His Word.
Absolutely.
This is really where else are you going to go? I mean, I could go to a counselor, and he could be a godly counselor, and that's good, because I think that will help. But at some point in time, you have to say, I have a problem, and I need to fix it. I have to stop letting my flesh take over. Because, we love to say, sometimes you just need to make a choice and say, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to live like this. I'm not going to be the Proverbs 5. I'm not going to sleep with this woman's husband. You don't want anybody treating you like that.
Yes. And I think, too, I'll go back a little bit to the point when you're negative, you're bashing a man, you're not taking accountability for your part in that, because it's a conscious decision. Sometimes we don't know any better, but when I've learned better, I do better. And I believe as women, we just sometimes give our power away.
Uh-oh.
God has given us power
Lord have mercy.
and authority to live this life and to live it victoriously. And it does not depend on a man, a woman, child, or anything else. It depends on you and your relationship with Christ. And I think the big thing is we need to take accountability for ourselves. We're so busy helping the husband, the children, that we don't look at ourselves sometimes and take the time to take responsibility for our actions and what we feel, what we're doing. Yeah. Just because we feel something doesn't mean we should do it.
Yeah, you can say that. You can say that one again.
Right.
How do you think we give our power away? How would you say we give our power away? What are some of the ways we give our power away?
to me, you make decisions sometimes based on someone else and their feelings, how they think about it. You tend to sometimes try to please others, and at the expense of maybe not pleasing yourself, and sometimes not doing what you need to do for yourself. I think the best me is a person who works
Yeah.
on themselves. I need to work on me
Yeah.
and do what I need to do. And that relationship that I have with Christ, let it flow through me. And when I'm better, I can do better.
Yeah.
And it's like that thing, I think you've used that analogy before, that if you're in an airplane and when something happens and that oxygen mask comes down, you automatically, let me put it on my child first. It says put it on you first, and then you're able to help someone else. So when I empower myself with the power of God, then I believe I can help someone.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, sister. I gave my power away, but I got it back now. I have my power back. And you know what? There's no shame in my game. That's part of this thing, being transparent. We all have made, nobody's perfect.
Absolutely.
Nobody's perfect. But I got it back. And I don't want to lose it again. And I know the only way I'm not going to lose it again is I have to keep Christ first. I have to keep Christ first. Because I did. And I'm going to tell you something. And this is to all of the women, or like I said, I'm talking to the women now. You have to get to a point where you literally have to say, no more. I know who I am in Christ Jesus. I was in such a dark place that I didn't even recognize me.
Can I say?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I can say, I've known you for many years. You've always been a strong woman, a go-getter, And when you were in that dark place, I saw you for the first time. I couldn't believe my eyes that you kind of shrink back. And
Wow.
It was almost like you were afraid to say something, and you were never at a loss for words, as long as I can remember. But I saw you not talking, and you didn't have any fight in you, which you always have that thing in you.
Yeah.
And you just look broken.
Yeah. Because I was.
Yes, but God.
But God.
See, you all can see, this is Tab's pink elephant. This woman has come from a place that really you wouldn't know. And look at her now. So you can look and say, oh, she had some issues. Yes, I've had some issues. We all have. But look and see what God has done.
Yeah.
That he's turned her around. And you know what? She has Tab's pink elephant now. She's a businesswoman. So look at this and know that you can have that within you also.
Amen.
And not taking anything away from marriage, family. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
She had that at one time.
Yeah.
But things happen.
Yeah. Thank you, Lord. And I can honestly tell you, and I can say this, if it was not from God. See, you can't convince me that there's no God. People say they're this and they're that. Why is so much killing going on? If there was a God, there wouldn't be so much killing. If there was a God, this wouldn't be. If there was a God, I wouldn't have been on drugs. If there was a God. But I can go ahead and tell you right now. God is real. It's not something somebody told me. It's something that I know. I know he is. Because he brought me out of the miry clay. He really did. And women, I don't care where you are. He will do the same for you.
Absolutely.
I love you. And you might say, you don't know me. No, I know. You know why I know you? Because I know you by the Spirit. Because I'm a woman too. And we have dealt with some crudball stuff. Guess what? We all have, but we're going to keep on moving. We have to keep on moving. And so I just want to encourage women today. This is Tab's Pink Elephant and getting elephants out of the room. We're going and talking about things, and we're not just talking, we're finding solutions.
Absolutely.
We're finding solutions because there's a lot of talking going on Christian TV. A lot of talking going on. But we got to get to the root. And we have to know there is Christians that are hurting. Christians are hurting people. Nobody, we're not supposed to say that. If you're a Christian, you're not supposed to be hurting.
Your life is supposed to be perfect.
I'm going to tell you something. No more. Tab's Pink Elephant. We're going there. I'm going to have other women on this show that have dealt with Proverbs 5. I'm telling you, I talk to them. When I tell you I've been talking to women for a couple of years and I'm hearing some of the same things, we're going to talk and we're going to resolve. And it's through the Spirit of the Lord, but we're going to resolve.
Absolutely.
So continue to tune into Tab's Pink Elephant. We're going to continue to get her up out of here. Like I said, this is a series. We can't Proverbs 5. You can't Proverbs 5. We got a series because it has affected so many. Okay, so she's getting up out of here. We're getting her up out of the room. So remember that. And you know what? You gotta keep in touch with me. I need to hear from you, and I mean that. Go to YouTube. Reach out to me on Facebook. Reach out to me on Instagram. I'm seeing all of this other crap out there, but let's get to the solution, people. I love you, and please keep in touch.